Hey there, friends. Thanks for joining us on ABC24 Plus. I'm Chief Meteorologist Trevor Birchett. It is Thursday. We are making our way toward the end of the work week, but we have quite a bit of weather to talk about. We're going to call it a weather roller coaster here because there are going to be so many changes for the next several days that might catch you just a little bit off guard. Of course, we're also still following that developing drought situation in the Mid-South that is already having a big impact and will likely get worse. We're talking all about that here in just a little bit, but let's go ahead and get right to the forecast and what you need to know for the next several days. Again, we're going to call it a weather roller coaster, up and down for the next several days. For today and Friday, we are going to be up. Temperatures are going to be getting hotter to end the work week. Temperatures we haven't seen in a couple of weeks, mid to upper 90s by the time we get to Friday. Now, shortly after that, we do have a cold front that's going to come in. That's going to bring in a chance of some rain late Friday night and early Saturday morning. But once that rain clears out, temperatures take a big drop in time for Saturday afternoon and into Sunday. Let's talk about that temperature first because that's going to be the biggest kind of swing for the next several days. For Thursday, we're going to get up to 91 degrees in Memphis, but look back off to our south and west. We have this big dome of hot air setting over the Four Corners in Texas, and what that's going to do, it's going to get picked up by this southwesterly wind, and that hot air mass is going to move right into the Mid-South. Look what it does to our temperature on Friday. We get all the way up to 97 degrees, very hot, hotter than we have been in several weeks. But again, it does not last long because by Friday night, here comes that cold front from the north. That knocks our temperature right back down for Saturday and Sunday. So a big temperature swing here as you look at the 3-day forecast. 91, partly cloudy on Thursday, up to 97 on Friday, and then all the way down to 77 on Saturday. So we're kind of all over the place here. But another thing that cold front is going to do with the big drop in temperature, it is going to bring in the chance of showers and storms late Friday night and into Saturday. So let's talk about that hour-by-hour forecast here. We're going to start it off at noon on Thursday. Nice and dry on the radar. I don't expect much of any rain on Thursday. Friday looks dry as well, at least for most of the day. Here's 8 a.m. Friday. No rain on the radar. Friday afternoon, maybe an isolated shower for somebody, but I think most of Friday, even into Friday evening, looks pretty dry. Of course, we do have Friday night football back. I don't think the rain is going to have a big impact on that. Notice this is 10 p.m. The rain isn't quite making it in yet. These showers are mainly going to be after midnight, more so into the overnight hours. So I think Friday night football is just fine. There could be a sprinkle or two, but I don't think there's going to be any serious rain activity through high school football on Friday night. Now, if you're going to be out really late Friday night, closer to midnight, 1 a.m., that's when we could start to see some showers and storms develop. By 3 a.m., a couple of isolated thunderstorms. And then as we wake up Saturday morning, we will have some rain, maybe a couple of thunderstorms out there. Here's 10 a.m. Saturday, rain on the radar, some heavier downpours, rumbles of thunder, but it does clear out pretty quickly. By lunchtime Saturday, we're in a lot better shape, and Saturday afternoon, that rain is out of here. So the biggest impact, I think it's going to be Saturday morning with some rain showers. So if you do have plans on Saturday, the later in the day, the better. But once we get past lunchtime, I think most of that rain is out of here. Friday night or Saturday night at 6 p.m., that's what you're looking at now. It's totally cleared out. So the second half of Saturday looks much better. But of course, we got to get to Friday night football first. And like I said, I don't think there's a big weather impact there. It is going to be hotter, 90 degrees as those games start to kick off, and then into the 70s by the time everybody starts to head home. But most of the rain will hold off until after midnight. I think most of our games will be totally dry. That rain gets in overnight into early Saturday morning. Now, of course, we need the rain. We've been talking about the drought that's developing. This rain is nice. We'll take what we can get. But unfortunately, it's just not going to be enough to really help our drought condition. We're about 3 inches in the hole for rain over the last month or so. So we have been very dry through the month of August. So we need about 3 inches of rain to help, or at least put a big dent in the drought. And we're not going to get that. Rain totals for the next 7 days less than an inch, but in reality, that's probably less than 1/4 of an inch of rain. So while the rain will be nice, it might help us feel a little better on Saturday. It'll certainly make us feel cooler. It's not really going to help the drought situation all that much. And there's really not much better news on the way. This is our precip outlook through the middle of September, through September 18th. And it looks like we're going to stay below average in the temperature and the precipitation department. So rain totals very, very low for the next couple of weeks. This is the latest drought monitor. It releases every Thursday morning. There weren't really any serious changes this week. Most of the areas still in that moderate drought. That includes West Tennessee, North Mississippi, and most of eastern Arkansas. We'll see what the update is next Thursday, but this is likely going to be getting worse over the next couple of weeks because there's just not a lot of rain in the forecast. Now, for the regular person like you and me, we say, hey, sunshine, rain stays away, we'll like it. We take it. We don't mind the drought. It feels pretty nice with that sunshine. But there are impacts that a drought has that you might not realize. So I want to talk a little bit about those. Why does a drought matter? Why is it important? The biggest thing for us here in Memphis is the river level. When it gets this dry, the river gets really low, and that can prevent barge traffic from getting up and down the river. At a certain point, those barges can't make it past. And that is a huge part of our economy, especially for the farmers up in northeast Arkansas, northwest Tennessee. If they can't put their crop on the barge to get down the river, it hurts everybody. It hurts people downstream. It hurts the farmers themselves. It hurts our local economy. So if the river gets too low, we have a big impact with barge traffic. Now, also, when it's this dry, you've probably noticed this in your front yard, that grass is really caked up and brown. It is not very wet out there, and that is unfortunately going to allow fires to be able to spread. So with the dry ground, the dry grass, fires can get out of control very quickly. And of course, we have some big crops coming up. We've got cotton and soybean this time of year, and lack of rain could have an impact on those and those folks that are farming that. As of Thursday, we only have one burn ban. It's for Crittenden County, Arkansas. No burning of any kind is allowed outdoors in Crittenden County. There are no other official burn bans. Those have to be issued by the local judges, but everybody is very dry. So even if you're not in the burn ban, you need to use extreme caution doing any kind of burning. I would just avoid it if at all possible because those fires can get out of control very quickly. You shouldn't be tossing cigarettes on a rainy day, but certainly not on dry weather like this. Those cigarette butts can start fires that get out of control very quickly. And be careful parking in grass. We like to do that around here. We're in the South. Church has overflow parking in the front grass. You might be going over to your family's house, park in that grass, need a little extra spot. But just be careful because when the grass is this dry, even your exhaust from your car can start fires that spread very quickly. Of course, we were also talking about the river. The Mississippi River goes all the way up to Minnesota, and there are several rivers that feed into it along the way. So for the river level, we don't necessarily need rain here. We need rain upstream in Missouri, Illinois, Iowa, into Minnesota and Wisconsin. They are going to be just as dry, so there's not enough water to flow into the river to keep that river level up. So the river levels will continue to fall. Osceola, Memphis, and Tunica now at a negative river stage. Now, that confuses a lot of people because you would think if the river's negative, there wouldn't be any water in it. But you have to think the gauge is on the side of the riverbank. So at a point, the water does go below that. Now, there's still water in the middle of the river. Go to downtown Memphis, there's plenty of water in the river, but it is at a very low level compared to what it usually is. Memphis at -1 foot, expected to fall another foot to -2 feet by Saturday. We get to -5, -6 feet, we start to have a big issue with barge traffic, and in some cases, that is completely halted and can't get up and down the river because there's just not enough water for those really deep barges to get by. Now, by the way, the record low river level in Memphis, just to put this in perspective, is -11 feet. That happened a couple of years ago. So we have a ways to go before we get to that record low river level. But again, it is very low and it could certainly have an impact. Our best odds of seeing any rain, it's Friday night and Saturday morning like we talked about. But after that, rain chances go back to 0. And that's why we're concerned concerned that this is going to continue to get worse, our drought situation. So again, some showers to start off Saturday. If you do have Saturday plans, I'd try to push them later in the day. The later the better, because there will be some showers around in the morning. But once the rain clears out, temperatures drop. 77 Saturday afternoon under a cloudy sky. Sunshine on Sunday looks great, a high near 82 degrees. Temperatures, again, there's the roller coaster. Very hot Friday, all the way up to 97 degrees. We'll drop to 77 on Saturday, and we'll stay in the 80s for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, slowly making it back to the 90s by the middle of next week. So just to recap, we are going to be hot on Friday. 97's the high, sunshine, but rain chances do stay low. It's going to be overnight Friday that the rain starts to pick up, after midnight for the most part. So I think Friday night football is fine. But overnight Friday into Saturday morning, we do have a little bit of rain and then some showers early on Saturday morning. Now, that will clear out by Saturday afternoon. So the second half of Saturday looks great. It is going to stay cloudy and it is going to be cool. High temperatures in the 70s Saturday afternoon. Sunday looks nice, sunshine 82, and then we will stay sunny and dry all next week. Again, for most of us, that's great. We'll take the sunshine, but keep in mind we are in a drought situation and a lot of people are already hurting. We need the rain. Next week looks totally dry, sunny and dry, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. 83 degrees Monday, 87 Tuesday, and then warming up to the low 90s for Wednesday and Thursday. So really the big weather story is kind of the lack of weather. We need the rain. There's just not going to be a whole lot of it aside from that quick round of showers and storms that comes in late Friday night and Saturday morning. Of course, we're on top of it, whether it's the rain or the drought. We've got you covered right here at ABC24 and on ABC24+. We'll have the latest updates as they become available. For right now, I'm Chief Meteorologist Trevor Birchett. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.